Okay, so the next topic is layers of atmosphere. And this is the diagram we have to draw for layers of atmosphere. So I'll give you all 2 minutes. Write the side heading layers of atmosphere. Draw this diagram. So before you draw this diagram, listen to me, especially in the West morning. There are mainly 4 layers. One is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and one more is ionosphere. But ionosphere over here is split into 2 other layers, thermosphere and exosphere. But actually there are 4 layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and ionosphere. So I want you to draw this diagram, and people who have drawn it before, try to draw it again, try to revise this topic. And in the diagram, the important thing is the distance of each layer from the surface of the earth. Distance of each layer from the surface of the earth. So make sure you mark this distance properly. And once you're done drawing the diagram, put a dot. Then I will teach you about each layer. Start. Quick, 30-second more, and then I'll start giving you the points for each layer. Okay, now listen. In the exam, the question will come, explain in brief layers of atmosphere, or what is the significance of layer of atmosphere, or write short notes on layers of atmosphere. Whatever is the question will come for minimum 2 marks. Whatever is the question will come for minimum 2 marks. And this diagram is compulsory, means you have to know the diagram, okay? Because the diagram will carry 1 mark. Now, you have to explain 2 points about each layer. You have to explain 2 points about each layer, okay? So, for troposphere, we'll write 2 points. For stratosphere, we'll write 2 points. For mesosphere, for thermosphere, for exosphere, for all layers, we have to write 2 points. For Andheri evening, I have told 3 points homework. For Thakur, I have anyway given 2 points. But today I will dictate 2 points. You can change your notes accordingly, or you can update your notes. Therefore, the first layer is troposphere. Therefore, below the diagram, write down the side heading troposphere. Write on the side heading troposphere. Okay. And the first point that you need to write in troposphere is, it is at a distance of 20 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, because that is in the diagram itself. It is a straight short point. What is the first point under troposphere? It is at a distance of 20 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Write down that point. First point under troposphere, it is at a distance of 20 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. And this point can be got from the diagram itself. The second point that you can write under troposphere, listen to this, look at the diagram. See, this is Earth, and can I say troposphere is the first layer? We all are living in the troposphere, because from the surface till 20 kilometers, it is troposphere itself. Now, what is the speciality of troposphere? There are more than 100 points you can write, but I'll tell you the most important point. Troposphere contains, don't write, listen first. Troposphere contains breathable air. That means this layer of atmosphere has breathable air, and this layer of atmosphere also has water cycle. Okay, so this layer of the atmosphere has breathable air, and this layer of atmosphere has water cycle also. Therefore, write down point number 2. This layer has breathable air. This layer has breathable air and water cycle. 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 Written. So 2 points under troposphere. First point is, it is at a distance of 20 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Second point is, this layer has breathable air and water cycle. Is it clear? Now, write the side heading stratosphere. Write the side heading stratosphere. Write the side heading stratosphere. Now, what will be the first point under stratosphere? The first point under stratosphere will be, it is at a distance of 50 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Right now, first point under stratosphere is, it is at a distance of 50 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Right now, first point under stratosphere. It is at a distance of 50 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Written? So first point of troposphere is also from the diagram itself. It is at a distance of 20 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. First point under stratosphere is also from the diagram itself. It is at a distance of 50 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Now, what is the speciality of stratosphere? Everyone listen to me very carefully. Stratosphere contains ozone layer. Okay, you might have heard of something called as ozone layer, which is present in the stratosphere. Therefore, the speciality of stratosphere is stratosphere contains ozone layer, which protects the Earth from the harmful UV radiations of the sun. So your second point of stratosphere, write down, stratosphere contains ozone layer. Stratosphere contains ozone layer. Stratosphere contains ozone layer, which protects the Earth stratosphere contains ozone layer which protects the Earth from the harmful UV radiation. Protects the Earth from the harmful UV radiation from the sun. Which protects the Earth from the harmful UV radiation from the sun or of the sun, doesn't matter. So 2 points of troposphere are over. First point is it is at a distance, and second one is it contains breathable air and water cycle. 2 points of stratosphere is, first one is it is at a distance of 50 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, and the second point is it contains ozone layer which protects the Earth from the harmful UV radiations of the sun. Now, first point in the mesosphere, can you write now on your own? What will be the first point in the mesosphere? It is at a distance of 85 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Mesosphere, first point is it is at a distance of 85 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Now, what is the speciality of mesosphere? What is the speciality of mesosphere? The speciality of mesosphere is, it is there in the module. Just read what is written. The mesosphere burns up most of the meteors and asteroids before they are able to reach the Earth's surface. Now, there are many points for mesosphere, but this is one of the important points. So what is the speciality of mesosphere? It burns up most of the meteors and asteroids before they are able to reach the Earth's surface. So you have to write from here till here as the second point. Start. Okay. Fourth side heading, thermosphere. And I hope you can write the first point of thermosphere on your own. What is the first point of thermosphere? It is at a distance of 690 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Right now, the first point under thermosphere is it is at a distance of 690 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. It is at a distance of 690 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, thermosphere. Okay. The second point, as the name suggests that it is thermo, as the name suggests that it is thermo. Thermo means high temperature. Therefore, I can say this layer contains high temperature regions because thermo means heat. Therefore, the second point under thermosphere, write down second point under thermosphere. This layer contains high temperature region. Write down second point under thermosphere. This layer contains high temperature region. This layer contains high temperature region. That is for thermosphere. This layer contains high temperature region. Is it done? Okay. The last point is exosphere. And for exosphere, the first point is it is at a distance of 10,000 kilometers from the surface of the earth. Right now, for exosphere, it is at a distance of 10,000 kilometers from the surface of the earth. Right now. For exosphere, what is the first point? It is at a distance of 10,000 kilometers from the surface of the earth. It is at a distance of 10,000 kilometers from the surface of the earth. Now, second point you can write down in very simple words. This layer extends into vacuum, means it goes on and on until vacuum. So write down second point. This layer extends into vacuum, means actually the layer is infinite up to completely endless. Okay, so this layer, write down second point under exosphere. This layer extends into vacuum. This layer extends into vacuum. This completes the topic of layers of atmosphere. This completes the topic of layers of atmosphere. Tell me, have you completed it? Any doubt? So for all, you need to write any 2 points. First point, always you make it a point that you write about the distance from the surface of the earth. And second point, you write whatever I have given or whatever you have got it from the other books. That is also fine. But I have given you the main point for each layer. Okay? Yeah, Prem, correct. Now, this topic clear? Anyone, any doubt? Okay, can you repeat the second point of troposphere? The second point of troposphere is this layer contains breathable air and water cycle. This layer contains breathable air and water cycle. Is it fine? This layer contains breathable air and water cycle.
The thermosphere.
For thermosphere, this layer contains high temperature region. This layer contains high temperature region for thermosphere. This layer contains high temperature region. Got it?
Yes, sir.
No. Next topic. I think for Thakur even this is done. I think Andheri East and Andheri West morning and evening this topic is pending. Therefore, write down the next topic. Modes of communication. Write down modes of communication as the side heading. Next topic is what are the modes of communication? And the first mode is point-to-point communication, and the second mode is broadcast communication. So there are two modes of communication. One is point-to-point communication, and another one is broadcast communication. Okay, now listen. What is the meaning of point-to-point communication and what is the meaning of broadcast communication? Point-to-point communication means one transmitter, one receiver. For example, if you call someone, listen to me very carefully. If you call someone, how many transmitter? One, because your calling is one. How many receiver? Receiver also is one. Therefore, if it is one transmitter and one receiver, it is point-to-point communication. Or when you send a message to a single person, it is called point-to-point communication. And the second part of communication is broadcast communication. Now, what is the meaning of broadcast communication is one transmitter, many receivers. For example, television broadcast. One television station, but many people are watching the TV. One channel, many people are watching. Or right now, our Zoom session is a broadcast because for one transmitter, I have many receivers. Means for one person who is talking, many people are listening. Okay. So point-to-point communication is one transmitter and one receiver, and broadcast communication is one transmitter and multiple receivers. Okay. So you have heard of radio broadcast, television broadcast. Now, if you send a message in a group, that is WhatsApp group, it becomes broadcast. But if you send a message to a single person, that becomes a point-to-point communication. Therefore, what is the definition? Look at the screen. It is directly from your textbook. See here, in point-to-point communication mode, the communication takes place over a link between a single transmitter and a receiver. Means single transmitter, single receiver. Example, telephony. Telephony means telephone itself. And in broadcast mode, there are large number of receivers corresponding to a single transmitter. Example, radio and television transmission. I think in Thakur also it is done, in Andheri West evening also it is done, Andheri West morning it is pending. Nevertheless, write down. This is point-to-point communication and this is broadcast communication. Write down. This is the definition of point-to-point till here, from here till here, and in broadcast that is the last three lines. So write down the definition of point-to-point and write down the definition of broadcast. And once you finish writing, please put a dot. They can be cases of multiple transmitters, but here we are focusing on single transmitter. Actually, they can be multiple transmitter, single receiver, multiple transmitter, multiple receivers also, all for combinations, but we are concentrating on one transmitter. For one transmitter, one receiver, one transmitter, and receivers. But what you're saying, multiple transmitters are there. For example, I'll tell you, a TV station has 3-4 satellites roaming around the globe. They collect the data and all of them send the data to the single TV channel. So many transmitters going to a single receiver.
So social media.
Social media also can be there. For example, when you open your WhatsApp, messages, can I say multiple transmitters have sent you message, a single receiver, okay? But each communication is different. But each communication will be different. But we'll focus on transmitter, that is one transmitter, okay? But what multiple transmitters, multiple receivers, multiple transmitter, single receiver also is possible. All 4 cases are possible. Okay, now. For example, when you're writing an exam also, it is multiple transmission, single reception. For example, you as a student take input from PCMB teachers, but receiver is only one. That is you. Do you understand? You as a student are also an example of multiple transmitter, single receiver. Do you understand how? Because you are taking input from many transmitters. Like how I am teaching you physics, someone else will teach you chemistry, someone else will teach you math, but you are only taking it. So can I say, but at one time, one transmitter, one receiver. Okay. Now in the exam, there is one very common question and very confusing question. See here. There is modes of communication and there is modes of propagation. There are 2 different questions. So if they ask you what are the modes of communication, then you will tell them point to point and broadcast. There is one more question. What are the modes of propagation? Modes of propagation means how does the wave travel? Okay, how does the wave travel? So please don't get confused in the exam when they ask you difference between mode of communication and mode of propagation. Mode of communication, if they ask you, answer is point-to-point communication and broadcast communication. And if they ask you modes of propagation, this is the answer. I'll explain in detail what does each thing stand for. Very, very important question. My only thing is don't get confused between modes of communication and modes of propagation. There are 2 modes of communication, point-to-point and broadcast. But there are many modes of propagation, that is ground wave, space wave, and sky wave. Therefore, write down the side heading. What does each thing stand for? I will tell you. But in the meantime, write down the side heading, modes of propagation. First one is ground wave, second one is space wave, and third one is sky wave. Start. Okay, now listen. There are 3 modes of propagation: ground wave, space wave, and sky wave. Look at me. First one is ground. Okay, let's look at me. First one is ground. second one is free space, and third one is sky. You have to remember in that order only. Which one? First comes ground, then comes free space, and then comes sky. So you have to remember also in that order. So if I ask you which are the three modes of propagation, you will tell me first one is ground wave propagation, then is space wave propagation, and then is sky wave propagation. Is it clear? Ground wave, space wave, and sky wave. Now tell me, out of the 7 electromagnetic waves that we have done, tell me which wave is used for communication. We have done gamma, X, UV,
Radio.
visible, micro, radio. Answer is radio, correct. Can I say radio waves are the most common waves used for communication? Radio waves are the most common waves used for communication. Is it clear? Therefore, remember, in communication, which wave will we use? We will use radio waves. In communication, which wave will we use? We will use radio waves. So look at the first one, ground wave propagation. Now let me draw the diagram. Now just imagine, you might have seen mobile towers like this, okay? So maybe this will be a transmitting antenna, and maybe this will be a receiving antenna. In electronics, transmitter is denoted as TX and receiver is denoted as RX. What does TX stand for? Transmitter. What does RX stand for? Receiver. Now in ground wave propagation, the signal, that is the radio wave, goes from transmitter to receiver along the ground. That is why it is called ground wave propagation. Did you understand the logic? For example, when I take a wire, put it underground, you might have seen people digging the roads and putting optical fiber below. So if my waves are traveling along the ground from transmitter to receiver, that kind of propagation is called as ground wave propagation. And since it is going along the surface of the earth, don't write anything, I'll give you notes. Since it is going along the surface of the earth, this kind of propagation is also called as surface wave propagation. So if the question comes, define ground wave propagation or explain ground wave propagation. See the starting, when radio waves travel from. Remember, all three modes of propagation use radio waves only. First thing, keep that clear. All three modes of propagation use which wave? All three modes of propagation use radio waves only. Therefore, listen, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna, listen, try to understand the answer. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna along the surface of the earth, it is called ground wave propagation or surface wave propagation. Is this much clear? Therefore, write down. Pooja, any doubt?
No, sir.
Therefore, have you written the side? Have you written all three modes of propagation? Below that, write down the side heading again. Ground wave propagation, and inside the bracket, write surface wave propagation. Write the side heading ground wave propagation, and inside the bracket, write surface wave propagation. And below that, draw the diagram. Okay, this you have to write it as Earth's surface. 1 minute. Okay, right.
Done, sir.
Drawn the diagram. Now listen, below the diagram, write down. Listen to the wording and write it as you understand it, okay? Write down. When radio waves travel from, write down. When radio waves travel from, when radio waves travel from, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna along the surface of the earth, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna along the surface of the earth, it is called as ground wave propagation. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna along the surface of the earth, it is known as ground wave propagation. It is known as ground wave propagation. Or surface wave propagation. You should know the other name also for ground wave propagation, which is surface wave propagation. Next side heading you write down space wave propagation. Next side heading you write down space wave propagation. Write down the side heading space wave propagation. See, I've drawn the diagram of space wave propagation. Now there are three cases. Now, can you look at the diagram and tell me what is space wave propagation? Starting is the same, that radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna. Starting is the same. What is the starting? Radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna. Look at the first case. Either after reflecting from the Earth's surface, or can I say they go directly, or can I say after reflection from the troposphere? Can I say all three make use of free space? What is the side heading? Space wave propagation. What is the meaning of space wave propagation? I make use of free space. In ground wave propagation, I made use of the ground. Check the diagram because the wave was along the ground. Can I say in this mode of propagation, I will make use of the free space? Therefore, look at the first case. Can I say the waves are traveling after reflection from the Earth's surface? Or can I say they are going directly? Or can I say they are going after reflection from the troposphere? If all three cases, or if any one of the three cases satisfied, then it is called as space wave propagation. And since all of this is happening in the troposphere, this kind of propagation is also called as tropospheric propagation. This kind of propagation is also called as tropospheric propagation. Make a note. This kind of propagation is also called as tropospheric propagation. Make a note quick. So what you need to do, write on the side heading space wave propagation. Inside the bracket, you need to write tropospheric propagation and draw the diagram. Notes I will give you. You need to write the side heading space wave propagation, inside the bracket tropospheric propagation, and draw the diagram.
Done, sir.
Okay, so now listen to the notes that I gave you carefully. Write down. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, starting is the same as the previous section. Just check. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, write down. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, either when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, look at the screen, either below that first point, after reflection from Earth's surface. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, either, first point, after reflection from Earth's surface, or, check the screen, or second point, directly, or third point, after reflection from the troposphere. Let me repeat. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, either after reflection from Earth's surface, or directly, or after reflection from the troposphere, it is called space wave propagation. It is called space wave propagation, It is called space wave propagation or tropospheric propagation. It is called space wave propagation or tropospheric propagation. It is called space wave propagation or tropospheric propagation. Right on the next side heading, sky wave propagation. Right on the next side heading, sky wave propagation. So look at this. Can anyone define, looking at the diagram, what is sky wave propagation? I have drawn the diagram. I have drawn the diagram.
From ionosphere. It reflects from ionosphere.
Correct. It reflects from ionosphere. Therefore, can I say, listen to this? Starting remains the same. When the radio wave travels from transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna, after reflection from the ionosphere, it is called as sky wave propagation. And can I say the other name for sky wave propagation will be ionospheric propagation? Can I say the other name for sky wave propagation will be ionospheric propagation? Is this much clear? Therefore, write down the side heading sky wave propagation. Inside the bracket, write down ionospheric. Inside the bracket, write down ionospheric propagation and draw the diagram. Notes I will give you for ionospheric propagation. Start. Below the diagram, write down the statement. When radio waves travel from, remember all three starting is the same. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, right now, starting. Right now, when radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna. When radio waves travel from transmitting antenna to receiving antenna, after reflection from the ionosphere, 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 it is called sky wave propagation, or it is called sky wave propagation or ionospheric propagation. It is called sky wave propagation or ionospheric propagation. Is it clear? So please remember the alternate names. Yes, that is why it is called skyway. Don't think of space as space. So space is free space, not outer space. Ionosphere, sky is the limit. Highest limit is sky. That is why it is called ionospheric. Space wave means free space. Okay, listen everyone. You should know, look at me. First thing you should know is, if the question comes, what is the difference between modes of communication and modes of propagation? You should be in a position to answer. That modes of communication are only two. One is point-to-point communication and one is broadcast communication. But if they ask you modes of propagation are three: ground wave, space wave, and sky wave. That is the modes of propagation. Is it clear? Also, you should know the alternate name for each layer. For example, what is the other name for ground wave propagation? It is called surface wave propagation. What is the other name for space wave propagation? It is called tropospheric propagation. And what is the other name for sky wave propagation? It is called ionospheric propagation. Is this much clear? Okay, now with that, we go to the next topic. Okay, now the next topic is antenna formulae. Okay, write down, very important topic. Antenna formulae means what is the range and what is the distance covered by an antenna. Right now, side heading antenna formulae. Written side heading antenna formulae. Now listen. Don't write anything, just listen. The range covered or the distance covered or the radius covered. The range covered, the distance covered, or the radius covered. All three is denoted by D of an antenna. The range covered, the distance covered, or the radius covered, all three is denoted by small letter D. And if they ask you, listen, look at me. If they ask you what is the range of an antenna, or if they ask you what is the distance covered by an antenna, or if they ask you what is the radius covered by an antenna, formula is same: D equal to square root of 2RH. This is as simple as it gets. What is it? D is equal to square root of 2RH, where what does D stand for? D stands for either range or distance or radius covered by an antenna. Don't write, listen to me first. 2 is a number. What does capital R stand for? R stands for radius of the earth. Don't get confused between radius of the antenna and radius of the earth. Radius covered by an antenna is small letter d, but radius of the earth is capital letter R. And what does H stand for? H stands for height of the antenna. And radius of the earth is a constant value, means it doesn't change with problems. Do you know what is the value for radius of the earth? It is there in your
6,400.
6,400 kilometer, but I will write it in meter because SI unit of distance is meter. So listen to me. The range covered, everyone please look at the screen. The range covered, what is the other name for range? The distance covered or the radius of an antenna. The formula is D is equal to square root of 2RH, where what does capital R stand for? Capital R stands for radius of the earth. Capital R stands for radius of the earth. And what does H stand for? H stands for height of an or height of the antenna. And you should also know radius is a constant value, means radius of the earth does not change, and I need the answer in meter. So if you look at any problems, they'll definitely give you this, but in your exam, they won't give you this. For example, in the textbook, if you see, they will give you this data. Any problem that you solve, they'll give you this data, but in the exam, this data won't be given. In other words, radius of the earth, 6.4 into 10 power 6 meter, you should know it. Means no one is going to tell you. And if they don't give you, you cannot say the question is incomplete, okay? Therefore, radius of the earth constant value is 6.4 into 10 power 6 meter. Now, this is the first formula for antenna. Understood? Last class, you had written two formulae. One is wavelength and frequency, electric field and magnetic field. This is the third formula that comes in your chapter. That is the range or the distance or the radius covered by an antenna. Therefore, write down range slash distance slash radius covered by an antenna. Range slash distance slash radius covered by an antenna is given by D equal to square root of 2RH is given by D equal to square
Sir,
root
can you
of,
repeat it?
it's on the screen, just check. Range slash distance slash radius of an antenna is given by
Okay, sir.
range slash distance slash radius of an antenna is given by, and write down this as it is. The formula is D is equal to square root of 2 capital R into H, where R is the radius of the earth, whose value is 6.4 into 10 power 6 meter, and H is the height of the antenna. Make a note. Okay, this is the first formula, distance covered by an antenna.
Sir,
Hmm.
what will be the unit?
Meter. because range, distance, radius is meter. But sometimes the distance is so high, in the textbook they write it as kilometer, but always stick to meter itself. It is a better way of writing. And the second formula that you have is area covered by an antenna. You know what is the formula for area? Pi into radius square, correct? But in this case, radius is denoted as d. Therefore, can I say area covered by an antenna is pi d square? Is it easy? Actually, area is pi into radius square. But in this case, our radius is denoted as small letter d. Therefore, area covered by an antenna is pi d square. Write down second formula. Area covered by an antenna it is pi d square, where d is the distance covered by an antenna. Where d is the distance covered by an antenna. Pi d square, where d is the distance covered by an antenna. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So make a note of these two formulae. In the exam, be very careful what they have asked, whether they have asked range or they have asked area covered. You should be very careful whether they have asked range or whether they have asked area covered.
Sir, what is the notation for area covered?
Notation for area covered will be capital A itself. Notation for area covered will be capital A itself.
Yes.
Okay. Now, using these two formulae, we'll have to
Sir,
solve
should
some
we write
problems.
it on that formula sheet?
If you have made a formula sheet, very good, make a note in the formula sheet also, no problem. So can I say in the formula sheet, you will have 4 formulae right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have done one formula for frequency and wavelength, one formula for electric field and magnetic field, one formula for range covered by an antenna, another formula for area covered by an antenna. One formula for range and one formula for area.
The unit.
Done?
Unit, sir.
Unit for what?
Area covered. Meter square.
Area. Area covered will be meter square. It is general. Area is meter square and range is meter. Okay, can we go to the problems? Okay, we'll start with this. This is your example 13.7 in your textbook. Listen to me, don't start. I will tell you the logic and then you start. See here, a radar has a power of 10 kilowatt and is operating at a frequency of 20 gigahertz. Dummy value, no need at all. Continue. It is located at the top of a hill of height 500 meter. So the first important data that I got is height is 500 meter, correct? Height is 500 meter. Calculate the maximum distance. So I know that I have to calculate distance and not area. Do I know the formula for distance covered by an antenna? Yes, I know the formula. It is square root of 2RH, correct? Also, square root of 2 into, do I know the value of capital R? They have given over here, but even if they have not given, I know that it is 6.4 into 10 power 6 into height is given as 500. Can I say with this much data, I can get my answer of distance covered? So now solve it and tell me what answer you're getting. Start.
Sir, 80.
It is 80 meter or 80 kilometer. It is 80 kilometer. Always a good habit to keep the answer in meter. But so 8 into 10 power 4 would be the perfect answer actually. 8 into 10 power 4 meter or 80 into 10 power 3 meter also is fine. They have given the answer in kilometer, but you keep your answer in meter itself. You keep your answer in meter itself because SI unit of distance is meter. Is this clear? SI unit of distance is meter. Okay. Understood this question, all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next question. Now you can take the help of a log table or something, but let me tell you the logic. Can you listen to me? Let me tell you the logic. This is example 13.8 in the textbook. Tell me if you have understood the logic. You can solve later. Okay, see here. If the height of the TV transmitting antenna is 128 meter, that means what is given? height is given as 128 meter. How much square area can be covered? Means they're asking distance or they're asking area. Can I say they are asking you area? So they are asking you what is pi d square equal to? Do you agree with this now? Last one they asked you distance. Now they are asking you area. If the receiving antenna is at the ground level and radius of the earth is given so much. Now see, how do I do it? Listen to me. Can I say area is pi d square? Can I write d square is square root of 2rh square? Because d is nothing but square root of 2rh. Therefore, can I say area is nothing but pi into 2 into r into h, because square root and square will cancel. Now, can I say area? Do I know the value for pi? Yes, it is a constant, 3.14. 2 is a constant. Do I know the value of radius of the earth? Yes, 6.4 into 10 power 6. Do I know the value of height? Height is given as 128 meter. So can you substitute all this and get the answer for area? Can you try? Start. I have given you the data. Try to get the answer. Kushal, you can take anything. You can take 3.14, you can take it as 22/7, or even better, to approximate, you can take it as 2 or 3 also right now, just to approximate. See, this is the answer you will get. Now, listen to me, listen to me. Look at the screen, look at the screen. Now, in the textbook, they have first found out the distance and then they have found out area. But can I say we have done a better way of doing it, because we have eliminated the square root completely, because they have not asked for distance. They have asked only for area. So instead of doing this, I directly put that value over here. Because of that, my square root is eliminated. I don't need anything in square root. This is the best way to solve it. You keep your answer in meter square only. Don't try to keep your answer in kilometer square. Keep your answer in meter square. See, numbers are not important. Numbers will change in the exam. My logic is, did you understand the method? In the exam, if it comes, you should know the formula, you should know the substitution. In the exam, they will change h. Height they will change, and they'll try to give you a number which is direct square root. For example, in the previous problem, how you got 80 kilometers directly? You will get such questions. Did you understand the logic? Which formula to use and what to substitute? Can I continue with the next one? You can solve it later on. You can solve it later on. I have other problems to do where you can get practice. Now listen to this. Listen to me carefully. I will do one part of the problem. Other part you can try it on your own. Now please concentrate. See here. They are saying height of a TV tower is 600 meters. Means what? Calculate its coverage range. You know what is the coverage range? Means I have to find. Correct. So can I say everything is known? 2 is known, R is known, H is known. Do you agree? All three are known because height is given. Can I say if I substitute, I will get the answer for coverage range or distance. And my answer will be 87.6 into 10 power 3 meter. Assume we got it. Okay, this is the first part of the question. And they have given the radius of the earth is 6,400 kilometers. Even if they don't give, I am okay. Now see the next part of the question, which is very, very important. What should be the height to get double the coverage area? This is the question. What should be the height to get double the coverage area? For this, you should know the relation between area and height. What you should know? The relation between area and height. Now tell me, what is the formula for area? Can I say formula for area is pi d square? Correct. Also, can I write area as pi into square root of 2rh square? And can I say square root and square will cancel? Therefore, can I say area is pi into 2 into r into h? Therefore, looking at this formula, can I say area is directly proportional to height? Do you agree with this statement? Area is directly proportional to height. I proved it also. Therefore, if I want double the area, can I say I have to have double the height also? Because area is directly proportional to height. Therefore, if I want double area, can I say I have to get double height also? Therefore, what is the height given? 600. Can I say to get double area, height also has to be double, which is 1200. Can I say the second part of the question becomes theory question? Because if I want double area, height also has to be double. And how did I get that relation? I got that relation from this formula. I'll repeat. Area is pi into d square. D I substitute it as square root of 2rh square. Square root and square will cancel. Therefore, I know the value of area is pi into 2 into r into h. Therefore, area is directly proportional to H. Now, since area is directly proportional to height, what does it mean directly proportional? If height increases, area increases. If height decreases, area decreases. Therefore, what they have asked in the question, they have asked what should be the height to get double the coverage area. Now, to get double the coverage area, can I say I will need double the height? Because area is directly proportional to height. And what is the height given as in the question? Height is given as 600. Now, if I double the height, it will be 1200. So second part of the question I have done for you. Can you solve the first part of the question and tell me, are you getting this answer? Start. Can you solve the first part of the question and tell me, are you getting this answer or close to this answer? Ayush, I had explained again. Tell me again, okay? Because I explained from starting only when you message. Tell me if you have understood, yes or no, Ayush. Ayush, just remember area is directly proportional to height. That means you'll get the answer. Remember that relation, okay? Okay, I'm going to the next one. All of you, please listen. Try
Sir, can
to
you please
answer.
solve the previous sum that I'm not
You-
getting the right answer?
You tried approximate, fine, no problem. You can try it approximated, try it later. Numbers are not important, method is important. And in the exam, you will get direct square roots. Okay, you will not get such complicated decimal ones. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Try to answer this. This is your MCQ 5 from the module, from your textbook. They are asking, in other words, what is the relation between distance and height? They are asking, in other words, what is the relation between distance and height? They're asking, in other words, what is the relation between distance and height? So listen, now I know the formula for distance is square root of 2RH, correct? I know the formula for distance is square root of 2RH. Therefore, can I say distance is directly proportional to square root of height? Can I say distance is directly proportional to square root of height? Or can I say distance is directly proportional to h power half, because square root can be written as power half. Therefore, what is the relation between distance and height? Answer is h power half. Therefore, answer is A. Just check, all of you. And the reason and the logic is on your screen. Just check. Start solving and tell me if you have understood this particular MCQ. Relation between distance and height. Got it? Got this question done?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is your MCQ 7, and I want all of you to solve it. Even I will do it on the screen. Everyone, please listen. They are saying, listen to me. If a TV telecast is to cover a radius of 640 kilometer, that means they have already given you the distance covered by an antenna, that is 640 into 10 power 3 meter, because 640 kilometer is nothing but 640 into 10 power 3 meter. That means this data is already given. What should be the height of the transmitting antenna? So in this particular question, they have given the distance. I have to calculate the height. Now I know the formula for distance is square root of 2RH, correct? Or can I say d square equal to 2RH, or h is equal to d square by 2r. Now whatever answer you get, that is the answer for height. Now solve it and tell me what is the answer for height that you get. I have given you the starting. I have given you the data. Now you have to just simplify and tell me what is the answer according to you.
अबे तो बोल प्लास्टिक में नहीं बनता।
Simply they muted. It was so exciting. Okay, others, give me the answer.
So A option.
A option. Okay. Everyone getting option A? If you want me to do it, let me know from this particular step. Otherwise, if you're getting it also, let me know. Correct. Answer is A. 32,000 meter or 32 kilometer.
Sir, please do it once.
Okay, I'll do it. Check. Now, 1 minute. Now, what is D square? D square is 640 into 10 power 3 square. Correct? Everyone check. There are many ways to solve it. I am doing the longest possible way so that I'm not skipping any step. Divided by 2 into R. 6.4 into, tell me, what do I substitute as R? I will substitute R in meter, radius of the earth. So tell me, what should I substitute it as? 6.4 into?
10 raised to 6.
Okay. Now, 640 into 10 power 3 can be written as 64 into 10 power 4 the whole square. All of you agree with this? Instead of writing
Yes.
640 into 10 power 3, can I write 64 into 10 power 4 the whole square divided by 2 into 64 into 10 power 5. Can I write 6.4 into 10 power 6 as 64 into 10 power 5? Can I write this much? I have not done any change. I have just written it in different form. Okay. Now I will simplify. Everyone look at the screen. Numerator will become 64 square. That is 64 into 64 into 10 power 4 square will be 10 power 8 divided by 2 into 64 into 10 power 5. Clear? I have just opened the bracket. Now, can I say 64 and 64? 1 will directly cancel. Other one, 2 ones are 2 32s are 64. Therefore, can I say I am left with 32 into 10 power 8 divided by 10 power 5? Or 32 into 10 power 8 minus 5? Because if I take 5 to the numerator, it becomes minus 5. Therefore, I am having the answer 32 into 10 power 3. Now, 32 into 10 power 3 is nothing but 32,000 meter. Now, are you getting it, all of you, how to get this?
Yes, sir.
So make a note. This is your MCQ 7. So we have done 2 MCQs based on the same formula. Got it? Now, what if 2 heights are given? For example, here, height of the transmitting antenna is also given, height of the receiving antenna is also given. You know the formula for height, or you know the formula for distance is square root of 2RH, correct? This is the formula for distance. But in a question, if 2 heights are given, I'm repeating, in the question, if 2 heights are given, then my formula will become, this will be your next formula. Please look at the screen very, very carefully. Then your formula will become D is equal to square root of 2R height of transmitting antenna plus square root of 2R height of receiving antenna. Then my formula for distance will change, because if 2 heights are given in the question, then I'll have to use the formula square root of 2RHT plus square root of 2RHR, where HT is the height of transmitting antenna and HR is the height of receiving antenna. So let me give you the formula again. Okay, and you'll have a formula here also. Okay, so write down in your notebook. In case 2 heights are given in the question, write down in your notebook. In case 2 heights are given in the question, in case two heights are given in the question, then the total distance covered by an antenna, if two heights are given in the question, then the total distance covered by an antenna is given by the formula. Then the total distance covered by an antenna is given by the formula D is equal to square root of 2RHT plus square root of 2RHR, where HT is height of transmitting antenna and HR is the height of receiving antenna, and HR is the height of receiving antenna. Make a note. HT is the height of transmitting antenna and HR is the height of receiving antenna. Make a note. HT is the height of transmitting antenna and HR is the height of receiving antenna. Written? Now, based on this, we will do a problem. You don't need to solve the whole problem. I'll just show you the static. Calculation in the exam will keep changing. Therefore, listen to this. See here. This is the kind of question. This is question number 9 from your book back question. Okay. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. A transmitting antenna on the top of a tower has height 32 meter. Therefore, can I say height of the transmitting antenna is 32 meter and that of the receiving antenna, that is height of the receiving antenna is 50 meter. What is the maximum distance between them? That means I have to find the value of D. So what is the formula? Square root of 2RHT plus square root of 2RHR. Can I say I know the value of 2R, HT and HR? I just need to substitute the values and get the answer. They have given the answer in decimal. Try to do it till wherever you can. You will not get such complicated calculation, but at least try till whichever step you can get. Okay, but did you understand this formula? And did you understand that you have to use this formula for this kind of question? Why? Because in this question, two heights are given. That is why. Now start. Okay, can you manage? Can you do it? Okay, now homework for today. You have to write 2 definitions. Please make a note. And with that, we stop the class. Please make a note of the homework that you have to do today. The homework is you have to write and learn the definition of critical frequency, and you have to also write the definition of skip distance. Make a note of these 2 questions. You have to write the definition of critical frequency, and you need to write the definition of skip distance. Okay, can you do this much? These are the only 2 definitions you have as homework. Okay. Okay, with that, we will stop for today. Any doubt, let me know, or else you can log off.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.